Hi, Jonathan Pickup. Welcome to my podcast 121. I have to continue my Landru design plugin objects. Andrew's going to carry on talking about his objects. I had to split the movie up into two bits because of the time limitations of YouTube.
And here's one of our stage, this is what the icon looks like for stage deck. I'm going to place it in the drawing. And if we go to a 3D view, we can see it's created the deck just with simple legs.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they're octagonal. They could be square or round. Let's take them back to square so it'll render quickly. We can add casters. We can put in a back rail. We'll zoom out so you can see the rail. And the rail can be a couple of different formats. And so it's what you would see on a real stage. And instead of legs, if that needed to be a folding stage piece, it's creating all that geometry for you on the fly.
That's quick, isn't it?
And we can change the height on that as well. And then the stage steps that I showed, if we come over here, here's our step unit. We've clicked to the stage. And this you probably wouldn't see in reality, but our stage was what, 2 feet tall?
Mm-hmm.
And our steps, when we snap to it, know what the stage height is. So
Oh,
you can
goodness
see
me.
that
So
stage.
if you set the stage to be like 6 feet high and you snap the steps on, it automatically measures the height of your
That's
stage and
right.
just does all that for you automatically.
That's right.
Sweet.
And then we can show different railings. And these are, common self-adjusting step units. You can also have, freestanding. So you get some different options of formats there. And again, I'm not trying to replace the Vectorworks, step tools. I'm trying to make something that is more common in entertainment. And similar idea was when we created our soft goods tool. And here I'm placing a piece of soft goods. That's stage talk for curtain. We're used to what we see with the spotlight tool. One big difference here, the spotlight tool can only be straight. This curtain can be curved. So you can resize the curve on the fly. It's creating that in 2D as well as 3D.
Now, I have a feeling, Andrew, you sent me these to have a play with once before, and I had a lot of fun with them. And you can partially open them, and you can put partially see-through on the texture. And was it a curtain track as well that you can put on there?
Yeah, we can put a curtain track on. We can make the opening in the center 5 feet. When we go to a 3D view, we can see it's made an opening even on a curved curtain. And one of the other things that this does, and this I think a lot of people take for granted, is if we make it, instead of curved, we make it straight. And instead of a curtain, we make it what we call pipe and drape. If you've been to any convention center, any event, you've seen pipe and drape in use. And it's just floor stands with these uprights. But for a person whose job it is to order all these uprights and order the right numbers of drapes, that can be mind-numbing in the detail. And by setting different distances, we can see to make this piece here, you'd have to order 3 sliders, 4 bases and uprights, and 3 curtains.
Now, did I hear you say earlier on to me that you can use worksheets to count this up and produce a report?
Absolutely, absolutely. Sort of like you demonstrated in some of your tutorials, you could have a worksheet count the number of pipe and drape instances, and then for each, what the parts that it would take are to generate that, and then you could generate the totals and turn that in as a parts order.
So quick.
And I'm sure you could go somewhere with that I couldn't. You're much better with the worksheets than I am. Okay, and so that's soft goods. And our newest tool is what we call the audio tool set. And that's the simplest of the 2 tools is Audio Box. Here I'm placing one. I'm going to keep its rotation at 0. I'm going to accept the defaults. And here you go, just a good old basic speaker. The difference is that you can generate the different sizes on the fly. So if you know what your speaker specifications are, it'll generate it for you. Or if you've stored them, you can get them from a library that you've stored on your computer.
Now, is that library in this file or is it somewhere else?
It's external.
So
It's an
every
XML
project
file.
could access your library of speaker parts.
Correct.
Cool.
Correct.
That's quite a time
And
saving if you have to do this kind of thing.
absolutely. And the one of the things that people were requesting with audio, if we take this speaker to be 20 feet off the ground and we turn on the dispersion lines, we can see what it would cover on the floor if this is our ground plane or our floor.
Mm-hmm.
And if we tilt that down 20 degrees, we can see what we'd actually cover on a floor.
So where the lines stop, that's the floor plane.
Correct.
And
Correct.
in
The tool
plain view, of
knows where the
course, we can
floor
see
is.
the spread area.
Right.
Nice.
And then audio array takes that tool and will actually build arrays. We're going to accept our defaults there. And we're going to take that piece to 30 feet up. And we're going to choose, oh, I've got some just dummy objects in here. And we're going to say we're going to insert 5 speakers. It knows it's going to be 10 feet off the ground and 1,800 pounds. And our top tilt, we're going to leave it 0 and 0. And when we enter the boxes, we can see that it just created the stack for us.
And did I see that you can actually tilt them and have them sort of follow sort of a tilting shape in
Yes.
elevation?
If we take our top tilt and we tip him down 5 degrees, and then we say 5 degrees between boxes, and we insert boxes again, you can see the curve that starts to be formed.
So does this also project that thing on the ground to see where it's covering?
Yes, you can turn on for each of the boxes. If we select the boxes, we can show their dispersion. And when we go to a side view, we can see with that quantity of speakers, are we covering the room like we want to?
And I can just see so much speed with this. Well, with the feedback that you're giving people, the ability for them to create very quick conceptual designs and check to make sure that they're doing the job they're supposed to be doing. This is superb.
Absolutely. And we're not trying to replace like audio analysis tools with this or a projectionist job with the video screen objects. We're trying to give a designer the tools so that he or she can do a lot of planning ahead of time to cut down on that expensive on-site work that might have to be done, by hand. You can do it in a drawing, get it done ahead of time, and at least get a lot closer.
I was just thinking of the time savings, Andrew. The speed at which this does the visual analysis for you. It's not doing the detailed analysis, but visually you're able to check, that you're covering your bases. The speed at
That's
which
right.
it's generating this stuff is
And
it's pretty amazing.
And the computer that I'm using to do this demonstration is a 4 or 5 year old, 2 megahertz dual core machine. So it's not like we've got a supercomputer that's generating all this for you. It's a pretty basic computer that's doing this pretty darn quickly.
Thanks for your time, Andrew. I learned quite a lot about this. The tools you've made look like they're really productive, really speed up the way you do this kind of ordinary, what I would call perhaps ordinary stuff that that you have to do. So thank you very much
Sure.
for your time, Andrew. I really enjoyed it.
Well, you're quite welcome. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Goodbye.